It all started from a welfare check that turned horribly wrong.
Oh God.
I need more units here. Here. Hold this. Yep. I got 2 dead dogs, TV's knocked over, and a cocktail knocked over in the front room.
A family of 4 and their dogs were found brutally murdered, a crime that shocked the community to its core. What is even worse? This wasn't a random act of violence. It was a carefully crafted plan driven by jealousy, paranoia, and cold-blooded intent. Hello and welcome back. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell to stay updated. In today's episode, we're diving into a case that has more twists and turns than a Hollywood thriller. The Romeoville quadruple murder. Without further ado, let's get started. It all started when families of 32-year-old Zoraida Bartolomei and 38-year-old Alberto Rolon sensed something was wrong. Calls and texts went unanswered for hours, a red flag for a couple who always responded quickly. Panic set in when Alberto missed his shift at work, something completely out of character. Zoraida's mother and sister grew more frantic with every passing minute. They eventually reached out to the Romeoville police, begging them to check on the couple.
I'm calling for my daughter, Zoraida Bartolomei. She lives on Concord Avenue, Romeoville, Illinois, and we haven't heard from her or her husband or her children during the whole day. No answering the phone. If somebody can go by the house and check them. So the husband, they called from his work that he didn't show up to work. And he never, he's always at work.
Okay, give me 1 second. Did you last hear from your daughter?
All day today I haven't heard from her.
But when did you last talk to her? Yeah,
last night.
Last night? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Officers arrived at the home on Concord Avenue that evening, expecting a simple wellness check. But the moment they stepped onto the property, a strange silence hung in the air. The house, once full of life, felt empty and cold. Through the windows, they saw chaos, furniture overturned, a broken television on the floor, and belongings scattered everywhere. Something was very wrong.
Hey, I got a TV knocked over and a coffee table knocked over.
With growing unease, the officers entered the home. What awaited them inside would be seared into their memories forever. Near the entrance, the family's 2 dogs lay lifeless, a grim warning of the horror that followed.
Oh God.
I need more units here. Here. Hold this. Yep. I got 2 dead dogs, TV's knocked over, and a cocktail knocked over in the front room.
Officers rushed to their car, preparing shields and weapons for a possible attack.
You can see the light with that other thing.
No, I hear you.
No.
You want the shield? Or you know what? I kind of want to grab my rifle.
Have your rifle. You go grab the rifle so you don't need the shield.
Yeah, I'm going to be your lethal cover run below. Come on.
In the hallway, they found 38-year-old Alberto Rolon. His body bore multiple wounds, and his phone rested inches from his hand, as if he had tried to call for help in his final moments. Investigators later determined that he was the first target, ambushed without a chance to react or defend himself. Whoever did this had planned it with chilling precision.
We're going to knife to the wall, right?
Yes, sir. You guys stay right on me?
Yep. I'm going over your right shoulder.
You watch our 6 as we move through the house, okay? Corey, come up here, cover this door. This window. Fuck, this lights is dead, god damn it.
Chris, yes.
Doors open. Alright. Hold on.
In the bedroom, they found 32-year-old Zoraida Bartolomei lying next to the 3rd dog. Her hands were shielding her face, an instinctive attempt to protect herself from the attacker. Evidence suggested she had witnessed her husband's death before being killed. Her last moments were filled with helplessness and unimaginable fear. A wife, mother, daughter, and sister unable to protect herself or her children.
All right. Yeah. I'm with you, Ryan. Romeo, please, anybody here? Romeo, please, anybody here?
But the most heartbreaking discovery came in the children's bedroom. 9-year-old Adriel and 7-year-old Diego were found in their beds, seemingly untouched by the chaos. Their small room, once a haven of comfort and innocence, had become a silent testament to the unthinkable. Their toys were scattered on the floor, their blankets still neatly tucked around them. They were likely shot in their sleep. Shell casings littered the floors, more than 24. There was no forced entry. Despite the attackers' attempt to stage the scene as a burglary, authorities quickly realized this wasn't a random break-in. It was a deliberate, targeted attack. But why? And who could carry out such a horrific act?
This happened between 9 p.m. on Saturday and 5 a.m. on Sunday morning.
We are not asking anybody to shelter in place. We are not actively looking for anybody in the area. But we do always ask our residents to have a good sense of self-awareness and to report anything that they might see as suspicious.
The investigation revealed the likely time frame, sometime between 9 p.m. Saturday and 5 a.m. Sunday. Authorities assured the public there was no immediate danger because they believed they had their man. A co-worker of Zoraida Bartolomei came forward, saying a few weeks ago, Zoraida had received strange anonymous messages, warning her to stay away from someone. The words were cryptic but threatening. The co-worker urged her to report them. But Zoraida brushed it off, never thought the situation would spiral into something so deadly. Her husband, Alberto, also received a chilling message days before the murders. The anonymous sender warned, "This will be the last time I say this, Alberto. This situation will cost you your family." Alberto shared it with a close friend, unsure if it was just an empty threat or something far worse. He had no idea how real the danger was, or how little time he and his family had left. Now it was clear the family had been targeted. But who was behind the threats, and what had pushed them to go this far? Investigators soon turned their attention to Nathaniel "Nate" Huey Jr., a local security company owner with a past far more complicated than it first appeared. Nate wasn't just an acquaintance. When asked about his relationship with Zoraida, Nate gave a disjointed and confusing explanation.
So when you guys, are you married?
Yeah, but not like, I mean, like, I don't know how to explain it, but like, yes, but like, we're not didn't go to court though, you know, for sure.
So like church married, but not paper married?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we were kind of married, not officially, not on paper. More like church married. Nate's answer was strange, but it hinted at an intimacy that raised immediate red flags. Though he ran a business dedicated to security and protection, Nate was prohibited by law from owning firearms due to a prior conviction. His history was checkered with legal troubles and accusations of controlling and possessive behavior. This was not a simple man. When confronted by police, Nate admitted to having an affair with Zoraida, describing her as his angel, very sweet girl, and swore that he could never hurt her. But his behavior told a different story. One moment he was calm and collected. The next moment he turned defensive and visibly agitated, especially when officers asked him where he was during the night of the crime. For investigators, it was clear. Nate was hiding something. But how far would his lies go, and how much of the truth could they unravel before it was too late? His alibi didn't hold up for long. Investigators found glaring inconsistencies. Surveillance footage showed Nate's vehicle near the family's home around the time of the murders. The next morning, police showed up at Nate's business, requesting consent to access his phone data. They explained the situation clearly.
So what we'd like, or what we're asking for, is consent to get the text messages off your phone between you and her, Snapchat or whatever it is between you, so we have both sides of it. We're trying to eliminate you as a suspect, but...
Go on the computer, right? You can get it out of the computer.
No, we have to take the phone, we plug it in, we take it out, and then we give your phone back.
I didn't have anything in there.
That's even better.
Right.
No, I believe it.
Nate resisted handing over his phone, making more delays and excuses. The officers warned him that without his consent, they'd have to get a search warrant, which would take longer. Nate reluctantly admitted he had deleted messages and multiple calls.
I mean, on your phone, you can't. Still in the thing. In the catch.
When you delete stuff, it's never actually.
So let's just say like a 64 gig phone. You use about 58 of it. The rest is the catch. It stays in the catch.
Nate stubbornly refused to cooperate. He promised to bring the phone in later that day.
I completely understand what you're saying. And I'm not even trying to give you guys a hard time, but like taking my phone and all that, like and you already told me like you can get it from
We can get her side of it. I can't get your side. That's the problem.
How about this? How about I come see you guys later today after work or something like that? Because I got other in there that I don't necessarily want you to be like looking at. You know what I'm saying?
I understand.
Before leaving, police asked to inspect Nate's car, and he gave them another strange answer.
One last thing, before we drive out of the parking lot, will you give us consent to look in your Denali just for like blood or something?
There's no blood on my car. I haven't done anything.
I believe you.
The officers tried to reassure him. We're just following orders. Trust me, we didn't want to keep coming back either. If you could stop by later, it would help clear this up fast. We want to cross you off the list. Nate hesitated again and said, "Fine, I'll bring the effing car. There's nothing in it. You can swab it, search it, whatever you need. There's nothing to find." He tried to sound confident, but the cracks in his composure were growing wider. Investigators didn't need to push much further. They could sense the walls were closing in. And Nate knew it too. As authorities dug deeper into Nate Huey's past, they stumbled upon something far more disturbing. He wasn't acting alone. Nate's fiancée, Ermelinda Palomo, emerged as the real mastermind, who took an active role in planning the events that led to this horrifying tragedy. For over a year, Ermelinda spun a web of manipulation so elaborate it seemed pulled straight from a psychological thriller. She convinced Nate that he was being targeted by an international crime syndicate. Using a network of fake phone numbers, anonymous messages, and fake online personas, she planted deep paranoia in Nate's mind. According to Ermelinda, dangerous criminals were constantly watching Nate, and Zoraida was a traitor who had sold him out. Each lie pushed Nate closer to the edge, until he believed he had no choice but to act. Detectives quickly confronted Ermelinda at her own house.
We have in our possession some phones, okay? And in those phones, we're doing what it's called a phone dump. So what happens is if anybody's talking on a text app that you can download, for example, Text Now, we can retrieve those messages.
Okay.
We have retrieved those messages, all right? We've read them. They're pretty clear that somebody's pretty upset at the victim, okay? Is there any way that these text messages are going to come back to you? Or your name, or your phone, or anything associated with that? Okay.
One detective offered Ermelinda to talk in his car. During questioning, her story twisted and turned, revealing her tangled relationship with Nate.
Huey.
Since probably 2015.
Okay. Why are you scared of him?
Oh, I'm not scared. Well,
okay. Why are you scared right now?
Because when I called him, because I was scared, I didn't know where he was.
Okay.
He said, someone's following me.
Okay.
So I called, and I called. And then I heard him say, why are you following me? Do you want to search the car? And then someone said to him, there are messages from you, and it's because her husband found out you were having an affair. And I didn't know that.
You didn't know what?
That he was having an affair.
Okay. When did you find that out? Right now?
Just right now.
Okay. When's the last time that he had an affair? Because I know this is not the first time.
No, it's not.
Okay.
Ermelinda quickly shed fake tears, painting herself as a victim who had been cheated on many times by Nate. She was nothing more than an innocent bystander, caught in the crossfire of his lies and infidelities. When asked if she ever confronted the women Nate had affairs with, she said flatly, "I'm too old for that. I'm 50 years old. There's no reason for me. And quite honestly, it's not the female's fault, it's his fault, so no."
So when we asked your husband if he knew this person, Zoraida, he said, I've never heard that name. Why would he be lying to us?
I don't know.
Ermelinda quickly realized the detectives weren't just interested in Nate's infidelity. The atmosphere shifted as they finally clarified the true purpose of their questioning. It was about a murder investigation. When asked about Nate's whereabouts, Ermelinda claimed he was with her the entire weekend. They stayed home Friday night, drinking heavily until they fell asleep, with Nate sleeping on the couch in the garage. They woke up hungover on Saturday, went out briefly to eat at Jersey Mike's, then returned home. Then she fell asleep in the afternoon and woke up yelling at everyone. She confirmed Nate was snoring all that time. They woke up Sunday morning around 9 a.m. and started doing laundry.
Are you telling me the truth?
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be covering for Nate at all?
No, he was here. Even my daughter said he was here.
In the end, detectives warned Ermelinda that they had found text messages tied to certain phone numbers. She confidently said those numbers could never be traced back to her. After this brief interview, detectives had no choice but to release her. As the investigation closed in, Nate and Ermelinda realized there was no escape. Instead of surrendering, they made the desperate choice to flee. Tracked to Oklahoma, the couple was spotted buying burner phones, hair dye, and other items to disguise their appearance and avoid detection. An alert was issued to law enforcement agencies with a description of the couple and the vehicle they were believed to be driving. On September 20, 2023, a license plate reader detected their vehicle in Catoosa, Oklahoma, more than 600 miles from the crime scene. Officers attempted to stop the vehicle, but Nate fled, leading them on a high-speed chase on Interstate 44. Nate drove recklessly, weaving through traffic in a last-ditch effort to escape. The vehicle eventually crashed and caught fire.
I'll take you right behind you. I got door. Do not see movement. No movement.
As officers approached, they heard what sounded like 2 gunshots. Inside the vehicle, they found Nate in the driver's seat and Ermelinda in the passenger seat, both suffering from gunshot wounds.
Get out! Get out! Get out! Get out! Get out now! Come out now!
I don't see anything. Got your cover. Cover. Got it. Nothing. Floorboard.
Nate Huey was pronounced dead at the scene, while Ermelinda Palomo was rushed to the hospital, where she later died from her injuries. Romeoville police chief later concluded that, when police approached, the GMC fled. A short distance later, the GMC drifted to the center divider and crashed before coming to a stop. After the vehicle came to rest, a fire started near the driver compartment, possibly set by Nathaniel. Nathaniel shot Ermelinda in the head, killing her. He shot himself under his chin, but that gunshot did not kill him, so he shot himself again in the head. Both died. The tragic deaths of a young family, including 2 young children, will forever impact the surviving family and those that investigated this case. Nothing can prepare a person for such an incident, and nothing can justify such a senseless act of violence. Although finalized, the finality of this case, unfortunately, does not mean closure for so many trying to grieve. Though the primary suspects were no longer a threat, the investigation continued, peeling back the dark and unsettling layers of the case. What emerged was a haunting tale of manipulation and control. In the interview, Ermelinda talked like a reasonable woman, but she was lying. Text message records and social media interactions showed that she had meticulously shaped Nate's perception of reality, controlled his every thought. She even used burner phones to send threatening messages to Nate, posing as different members of a fake criminal organization, including organization bosses, hitmen, and hackers. Over time, these bosses convinced Nate that there was a mole within the organization. That mole was none other than Zoraida Bartolomei, and she intended to attack him. Then Ermelinda, posing as a mafia boss, began plotting the murders with Nate. She provided him with the layout of Zoraida's home, pointed out potential neighborhood cameras, and detailed the family's routines. They discussed everything: the people living in the house, including Zoraida, Alberto, their 2 children, and their 3 dogs. Ermelinda instructed Nate to stage the scene like a burglary gone wrong, and reassured him with chilling confidence: many murders go unsolved. Ermelinda didn't stop there. She gave Nate precise instructions on how to carry out the killings, like move through, locate, and hit the 2 adults first, then the 2 kids. Surveillance footage captured Ermelinda driving Nate to the crime scene around 3 a.m. on September 16, 2023. Nate entered the home and executed their plan. He shot Zoraida, Alberto, their 2 children, and their dogs a total of 20 times with a 9mm handgun. Ermelinda's control over Nate was terrifying. She twisted his fears, feeding him lie after lie until he believed he had no choice but to act. Her manipulation was so complete that Nate became nothing more than a pawn in her deadly plan, a chilling example of how dangerous psychological coercion can be when left unchecked. And that brings us to the end of this episode. Please share your thoughts in the comments. If there's a case you're interested in, let us know. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time.